Every one of us needs a bag like this.
Stick around and we'll get right to it.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Jason, KM4ACK. No matter where you live in the world, power outages are always a threat. Now, they may not happen very often, and usually it's just a minor inconvenience, but this bag will help make that a little bit less inconvenient. Now, this is what I call the lights out kit. It lives in my master bedroom closet because that's also the spot that we would go to in the event that we were threatened with a tornado. And primarily, it's just for dealing with power outages, but you will see a couple of things just in case the house was ever hit with a tornado. Now, the bag itself is just a Husky tool bag. Right on the outside of it, though, you'll notice several different things. First off, we've got just some chem lights, so you can open these packages up, break these, snap them, and lay them around in various places in the house. In addition to that, you're going to find multiple flashlights on the outside of the bag. There's 3 right here, including this little bitty one that's hidden down kind of in the pocket. And then over on the side, there is another small light, and then there is a little bitty keychain light. So, little bitty pocketable guy. If the grandkids here, well, this is one of those that I'm going to give to them so they've got their own flashlight. In addition to that, there is also a whistle on the outside. Now, this is one of those things that's not designed for lights out, but should the house be hit with a tornado and you were trapped, this gives you a way to signal for help. So I just like it on this bag because this bag always lives in that safe space for us should we be faced with that tornado. The last thing you'll find on the outside of the bag is this little metal card. It's got emergency communications written on the front of it. On the back of it is telephone numbers of friends and family. And by the way, guys, these are available on my website if you're interested in those. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the bag and take a look at what I keep on the inside. First up, we've got a couple of these O-Light. I believe these are called the bulb or the O-bulb or something like that. This is one of those that's got different modes on it that we can cycle through, and it's got different lights on it, whatever you may need. If you want a red one to kind of preserve some night vision, if I cycle long enough, you'll get the white light. These will get dimmer and they will get brighter. So a couple of these are always in the kit. Now I got to remember how to turn it off. There we go. Double click. I did a whole video on these. I'll try to remember to leave a link to that down in the description below. Now, another item I keep in here is an old Baofeng radio. It's just always here. It's always handy in case I ran to the closet at last minute and didn't have a radio with me. This would give me weather radio. It would also give me a way to access repeaters in my area. Digging a little deeper in the bag, let's see. We got a couple of sets of batteries. We've got AA's and we've got AAA's. Now, I just checked this bag before I started this video, and one thing I noticed is the date on those batteries. So I like to date every single thing when it's a consumable like this. And I didn't realize how old these batteries were. In fact, that might make for an interesting second video to take these 11-year-old batteries out and see what kind of battery life we actually get out of them. All right, digging a little deeper into the bag, this is an old battery pack that I had for photography. It's made by Paul C. Buff out of Nashville, Tennessee, and this is the Vagabond Mini Lithium battery. Not something I would recommend purchasing. This was an expensive item when I bought it for the business, but it's something that works really well in this kit. We can actually plug up a TV and run it off of this, or if we needed to charge cell phones, we could do that as well. It does have a really old USB-A style plug on it that only gives you a half an amp out. So not fast charging by any means, and I've got better solutions. But this is one that I don't use anywhere else anymore, so it's nice to keep it in this bag. In addition to that, I've got just an old school AM/FM radio. And this is just so we could listen to maybe local news reports more than anything else if the power was out and we didn't have any other means of getting it. This thing runs, I believe it's on AA's or AAA batteries. yeah, AAA batteries. So with the extras that we've already seen in the kit, I could keep that thing powered up for quite a while. Going a little bit further, I've got one of these Eaton weather radios. Now, this has got AM, FM, and weather bands on it. It also has the hand crank on it that allows you to turn the crank on the back of the radio and actually power this thing up. It's got a little solar panel in it. Not the best radio, but I like it just as a backup to the other battery-powered radio that's in this kit. Now, these guys are really, really cool. They're not terribly expensive, and it's just called a little button lamp. I bought a 6-pack of these, and then I bought a second 6-pack of them because I took them out and tested the first ones, and I wanted a brand new pack to have in this kit. But these are just little lights that you can turn on and lay down in a room. Maybe it's a dark bathroom that you just want to keep lit all the time, and it's a little bit safer to leave these on overnight than it would be, say, candles. However, speaking of candles, I do still keep a whole Ziploc bag full of tea candles. They're not the safest things. There are better alternatives, but sometimes a tea candle will do just fine. In addition to that, I also have a headlamp. And guys, this is why you want to check these kits at a minimum of once a year. You can see the battery corrosion that I found on this particular headlamp when I pulled it out of the bag and started looking through this one this time. Now, fortunately, it does work again, so I didn't completely lose my light, but it did take me a few minutes to get everything cleaned up and functioning again. And last but not least, we've got a couple of laminated cards back here. One of them is a Baofeng card that I created several years ago. It's got some pointers on the front of the card that kind of tells you what's what. And no, this isn't good for other amateur radio operators, but it's good for somebody that doesn't know anything about that radio. So I've got some indications here on the front telling you what's what, and then there's some directions on the back telling you basically how to turn the radio on, and then how to manipulate frequencies on the radio, and how to figure out if you're on the A or the B band. So combining this little diagram with the directions on the back, someone that's never picked up a radio should be able to pick it up and figure out how to talk on it. Then the other card that I got, I'm not going to really show you guys this card, but this has got our personal family emergency communications directions on it. So I keep one of these cards in every single vehicle that we own, and I keep one in this bag. That way, regardless of where you are or where you find yourself in an emergency, you're always going to have access to this card. So there's a look at my Lights Out kit, and I hope it encourages you to build your own if you haven't already. If you found today's information helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.